Okay, so now we are going to look at our vocals. So I'm going to go, let's see. Let's go to the first verse, because vocals will probably come in here. I think that would be a good assumption to make. And we're just going to start with just our lead vocal. So I hear two things. First thing I actually want to go after is it's a little spitty, so I use this plugin, actually just set up for de-essing. I'll probably get a little more aggressive with that. Back to the verse there. Yeah, that's kind of controlling those S's there. And then it's generally fairly dynamic, so let's look at this. Got this there. I like that. Kind of makes it nice and level and brings it up front. But it's definitely dull. So let's look at adding some top end to her. Before we do that, I'm going to try a different de-esser. I'm going to try this SPL. Let's keep going with that and see what it does when we add top end to it. I'm going to go back to the verse. I usually start around 10K for vocals for the very top sheen. Okay, that's got some really nice air to it, but it needs some aggression to cut through the guitars. So we'll just use a bit of that. Boosting 3K can definitely get out of hand very quickly, especially on a female vocal, but I find it needs a bit of it just to get through everything else. Now, I'm still hearing something kind of woolly and muddy, so I'm going to turn off my compression and we're going to kind of sweep around and see if we can find that. Try that. Let's get rid of that. Put our compression back in. Oh yeah. Probably cut a little less of that, but there we go. Let's try that. Yeah, that makes it a little cleaner, doesn't it? We're doing pretty good. I might add, just for some warmth, right around just below 1K. Oh, and it's very important to note that we are, what you might see on the page, this is not actually the signal flow. My inserts, this compression on everything is coming after the EQ. You can see that my channel strip currently is in the pre-inserts position. So that means all of my EQ is going into my inserts. That's especially important on vocals, because if we were to do that, if you compress after EQ on a vocal, you end up with absolutely tons of sibilance. So that's one thing I haven't pointed out before in this series. But yes, all of my compression is post EQ. Well, now let's have a look and see what kind of effects we might want to put on her. So I'm already set up to send to a vocal reverb and a delay, as well as I have this called H3K because I'm emulating like an H3000, doing the pitch spread thing, and a slap delay. So let's go down to my effect returns and start bringing things in. Back to the first verse, because it seems like a good spot to start. Let's bring in the harmonizer. So what this is actually a stock plugin in Cubase called Cloner. And you can look at my settings here. It's basically creating 4 voices, and it's detuning and delaying them in different amounts. And in that amount actually modulates because it's humanized. I can't say I entirely understand what this plugin is doing. What I just explained is all I understand, but sounds great. It adds a lot of like depth and space to the vocal without it getting swimmy. Let's see. Makes it thicker, supports it, brings it forward a bit. Let's try our slap delay. Adds a little bit of space to it. And then we come over here. I've got 2 reverbs set up. First one is this Lexicon plugin, set to a plate. We'll just wait for the vocal to come back here. And that's kind of like my long reverb. I have this set up for a sample of an EMT 250 plate, the shorter reverb. In this case, I might use both. You know, the EMT is adding some immediate space around the vocal. The MPX is adding some length. I'm just going to keep them both kind of low. Now let's look at our delay. It just adds a different kind of length than the reverb. Look at what delay we're using. It's the same as my other delay setting. So it's offset so you get spread, and it's just a quarter note delay in sync with the track. Play with my fader a bit and see if we can get her to sit fairly nicely without riding yet. I can tell when we get here, it comes time to automate. We can push those up. That could be fun. Okay, so now we've got a double and a stereo background. Now, I know that it's the same singer, was recorded the same way, so why don't we try doing the same kind of thing? So I'm going to, actually on doubles, I don't want to have any ambience on the doubles, so I'm going to turn that off. But then, you know what? Why don't we just take our EQ and copy it and see if that works. If it doesn't work, we can change it, but it's probably not a bad place to start. And then we'll go up, and I like to use different compressors on the background vocals, but I am gonna copy this de-esser setting over because that was working pretty well. I'm gonna use the same compressor on the double. And then you know what? We'll copy this de-esser over here as well, and we're just gonna turn on those compressors there, which is this compressor. And when we get to some background vocals, I can open that up and we can look at what we're doing. And in fact, let's see, where do we have some background vocals? Right up here. What's happening? Okay, I want more reverb. Definitely tell that. And let's look at this compressor. Not doing anything crazy. If we turn it off to peaky, that actually controls the top end too in relation to the lead vocal, because it's a different kind of compression. It's a little more gentle than the 1176, so it's actually kind of tucking in the high end and making the background vocal sit behind the lead vocal, even though they have the exact same EQ curve on them. So that's a nice little trick to get your background vocals to sit behind your lead vocal, is just use a gentler compressor. And that oftentimes will take care of that. If we go back to that section, let's have a look. What else might want to add to these is I think I'm going to put a bit of chorus on them. That's the same chorus that the bass guitar is going to. It's a subtle amount. That's just going to spread them a little bit. Kind of listening right now. I'm always going to take these spots and just listen to the rest of the mix and think about how everything is working together. Still want more reverb on these background vocals. See, and the double is just fitting right in where I want it. Sitting underneath the lead vocal and supporting it, perfect. Exactly what I want it to do. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm fairly happy with how everything is sounding. I'm going to go to the top of the song, and I'm just going to give a listen through, maybe tweak something that I might find, and kind of move some faders, see how everything's feeling, and get ready, kind of listen for any spots that I might want to really push when I do my automation passes. So that's just what I'm going to do right now, is just kind of listen through the track and see how we feel about it all. So here we go. So I just compressed the bottom snare just a touch less because I was hearing a little too much buzz in the tom section there. So you can see I'm just kind of making a few EQ tweaks as I hear them. Most of the time not in solo. I want to do all this EQing within the song itself. Okay, let's try reverbing the crap out of this section here. That works pretty well. We'll definitely automate that. Which is what we're going to do next. I've listened to the song. I'm pretty happy with the tonal balance of everything. So next is to start my automation passes.